Hi, it's Maria, your host from this week's episode. Before we get started, this is just a quick disclaimer. We will be discussing our perspectives on religious and spiritual ideologies, as well as subjects of death and suicide. All these conversations are based on our personal experiences and opinions and are not meant to be taken objectively. Listeners' discretion is advised.
An honest look at the past can teach us important lessons in the present. As the people we are now, it's easy to think about all the mistakes we've made, and they're not always easy to admit. We're here to help make it a little bit easier. Join us, a diverse group of friends from all walks of life, as we sit back and talk about all the trials that we've faced growing up, as well as the happiness that we've enjoyed. In hindsight, there's a lot of things we all wish we knew just a little bit earlier. Come take a seat at the table. Let's reflect on it together.
Hi, welcome to In Hindsight. I'm Maria, this week's host, and I'm joined by
Jacquie,
Hasaan,
Jay,
Weldon.
I'm Richard.
I'm Chris.
and I'm Austin.
So, according to the Collins Dictionary, spirituality is defined as relating to people's thoughts and beliefs rather than their bodies and physical surroundings. I've realized as I've aged, many people turn to spirituality to seek guidance and purpose beyond their everyday lives. So, I'd like to start off this episode by asking, would any of you consider yourselves spiritual or religious?
All right, let's go down the list. Jacquie.
I would say no at the moment, but I have an open mind.
Okay, for me, half and half. Jay, you.
Huh? Me?
What's up, bro? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not religious, though I grew up religious, but I wouldn't consider myself that anymore. Spiritual wise, I say like I dip into it here and there, but I've yet to really like dive in fully.
Okay, Weldon.
Well, I am Catholic, but I don't practice it that much anymore. Like I did go to Catholic elementary and high school, but yeah.
Richard.
I'd say both. Yeah. So yeah, someone's breathing really hard into the mic, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's Chris.
My bad.
Stop breathing.
Yeah, Chris, how about you, man?
I'm 50-50. I partake in some actions, but rarely, very rarely.
In some actions?
Like practices, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Prayers here and there,
Okay,
temples.
true. Austin?
I'm not religious, although my parents are, and I follow them around sometimes to like the temples they go to. Spiritual wise, I don't really know specifically what I believe in, but I believe there's something out there.
Yeah. I honestly have no idea what I am. I grew up like very, very religious because my parents are, and like they raised me like that. But
Bro, you're crazy religious with the prayers, dog.
yeah, even now, like I'll do prayers like all the time, right? Because I'm at home and my family does prayers, so I kind of just do them with them. Like my parents want me to do them with them. But like, as far as how much I actually, I guess, like believe in it, or how much I'm really, um, how much it actually matters to me, or how important I think it is, it's kind of like on the sidelines of my head. Like I think about it here and there, you know, like oh, I wonder what what's out there or whatever, but it's kind of something that I end up sidelining, and I think of it as like a minor issue in a way. I don't know.
Yeah. For me, I'm very crossed on a lot of things, and when it comes to religion and spirituality, like there's this whole concept of like, do I believe in God? Do I believe in, the afterlife and a bunch of other things? But I don't know. Like for me, I think I'm more of like a existentialist, spiritual like type of person, and like I maybe the word is agnostic, but I'm very like open to both sides. Like I'm not very inclined to believe one or the other, but I'm always like looking to see what other people's perspective are, because it is very interesting, and I don't know, it could lead to lots of truths and comforting things that life might be all about. So
I feel like I kind of find comfort in it, because I feel like a lot of people think of religion, they're like, oh, here's like a set of morals that I can follow, and this is why it's good. And also just like the afterlife. So it's like nice to think that someone's watching over you, and that when you die, you might go to like a really nice place
Mhm.
and like meet all of the people in your life
Yeah.
that have died, you know?
It's so strange for me, like, because how I was raised by my parents was like a lot of the principles were based on religion,
Hmm.
and I think ultimately it made me a better person. Like my morals and stuff like that. Like I feel like I have a good set of morals, and that a lot of that is thanks to the religious upbringing.
I feel
And
that.
as a kid, I like I've had experiences as a kid that really felt like religious or like spiritual experiences, like very very clear and like obvious types of things. It was strange. Like this one time, me and my
Explain, I want
bro.
to know.
Well, I don't know. Like the one thing that comes to mind all the time is this dream that I had. Um, and me and my bro both had the same dream at the same time, but we're not like. And that sometimes happens with like twins, but we're not twins. We're like 3 years apart.
Hmm.
So we had the same dream where we were in like I don't know where we were, but it was basically like I think it was supposed to be heaven or something, and we're meeting a lot of people that we used to know that passed away, and we were talking to them. And me and my bro both had the same conversations with like a friend of ours that passed away when I was a kid, and I talked to him and shit, and I asked him about like, oh, like how's heaven and all that stuff. And I was a kid, like it's not like I could really. I was like 8. I couldn't really conjure up this kind of thing, right? So when I look back at it, I'm just like, I wonder what that was, really. I wonder what that dream was and what that phenomenon was where both me and him had this same dream and the same conversation with the same people, all the same people and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just those. And the thing is, like, even though now I'm kind of like, what's the word, like apathetic towards it,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
it still lingers in my mind and I still think about it because of those types of things and those experiences that I've had that make me think there's definitely not nothing, but I'm not entirely convinced about what there is, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like the more I grow up, the more I realize there's just so much we don't know and so
Mhm.
many mysteries, and even things that we do know are not 100% sure.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like in a constant state of uncertainty.
Yeah. And also the fact that exactly what you described, I've heard of that happening to so many people on TikTok. Like cuz I
TikTok.
end up my algorithm is like mostly spiritual people, and yeah, they talk about it and they're like, yeah, so me and my best friend had like the exact same dream, and that's how I like became spiritual.
Yeah, that's the thing with humans. I feel like there's this energy that we all possess. Like even just like I don't know, if, like
Is that like you're an alien?
yeah, it's like
That
it
was
feels like we all
random.
have this like this wave that we could all connect to, and that's something that's kind of beyond. I don't know, like
Our
what we could
comprehension?
rationalize or any something like that's why when you
Yeah.
take like I don't know if I could talk about this, but when you take psychedelics and all of that, there's this chemical that releases in your brain, and it's a whole new experience that you can't possibly conceive in this this realm of comprehension or reality. It's only when you take these psychedelics or whatever that you could experience these I don't know what to call
Yeah.
them, but
Yeah.
it's like a whole new world. And
Yeah, I've heard.
there's also this whole theory that when you die, the whole concept of heaven is released through that chemical release of DMT in your brain or
I've heard
whatever.
of that.
Yeah, I've
And
heard of
that's
that.
and it gives you like a sense of euphoria, and that's what people perceive as heaven. There's this whole like there's a bunch of like different beliefs and theories of what heaven is, but
Mm-hmm.
There's
yeah,
also
that's
people
what
How
I
who
many?
believe.
have died or not died. Well, there's people who have died and then been revived like later on.
Yeah.
Oh, you
On
mean like reincarnation?
No, like there's literally people who like their heart
Their hearts,
stopped and
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
they were
Actually, I
like
know someone like that.
technically
I know
dead.
someone like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Wow.
Wow.
And
In,
like
in my building, yeah.
That's
and
why.
like they report after that they I don't know how to word it because it doesn't seem like a like comprehensible experience, but like I guess their souls like floated away from their bodies and they were seeing themselves from like a third person view.
Oh
something.
yeah. I forget
Yeah.
if that's called
Astral
astral
projection.
projection. Yeah. I've heard that happens to people in that exact thing that you're talking about, where
But
people like.
So
Yeah.
I've heard that happening to people while they do like lean or something. So I'm like always like, apparently, like if you drink too much of it, you literally like can see yourself from a third person point of view.
Wow.
Jesus.
I've had an experience when I was like lucid dreaming. I don't know if that's the same thing, but
Oh
Lucid
yeah.
dreaming,
Yeah.
it's kind of
tired.
different than astral projection.
Yeah.
Lucid dreaming is like you dream so hard that like it feels very real and like
You can
Yeah,
control
you-
yourself.
exactly,
Do you
yeah.
guys ever had like that one moment or any moment in your life that made you think like, oh shit, like there's something else going on here. There's something that we can't see or something like that.
Kind of.
My relatives have had like experiences with spirits, and apparently my
You told me
cousin,
about this in first year, I think.
yeah, my cousin was possessed.
Oh,
don't
never
know.
mind.
It seems like very cliche, but I don't know. They moved into like this house, and apparently, I guess it's built near a grave or something happened where people died there, and yeah, like my relatives, they can all say that this is true. Like they saw her like acting differently, and her kid was like saying, "This isn't my mom," all that kind of stuff.
Oh my
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
whack.
And
damn.
I think that my aunt was like cleaning her house one time, and then she like saw someone standing there, and she just like quickly
Oh my
ran out of
God.
the house and stuff.
That's
It's like
terrifying.
all a bunch of stories, but I never got to see like proof or anything. But
Yeah.
I don't know, the fact that they can all say that is true, it makes me
We're in a
believe
whole
something.
different territory now, because I was thinking about like God or like angels or something.
Yeah,
or
that's what
demons.
I was
But you're out here talking about like ghosts, and that's actually
But
even
I
scarier.
think that kind of goes into it. That kind of ties together like the afterlife, like
Yeah,
shit
Yeah,
past
yeah.
this life, this
Yeah.
physical life that we're like living right now.
Uh-huh.
And I've heard a lot of like stories like that. My mom told me about a story where she used to work in this old castle and they played with the Ouija board like on their lunch breaks and stuff. It was so fun for them. And one night they saw like a huge long like black shadow running around, and she's like, that's the last time I ever played it.
That's 0 to 100 real quick.
They was drinking
What?
lean.
And
They
also
was-
Your
one
mom
thing
was
that-
drinking.
they're drinking lean, yeah. And also this one time she said that her coworker kept asking it like, so is my daughter gonna be like, I don't know, successful and like marry a good husband or whatever? And it would go into circles, and then they made fun of her for like her daughter not having a future, and then like 2 weeks later her daughter fell down the stairs and died.
Bro.
Yeah,
What?
it wouldn't tell her
Crazy.
daughter's future for that reason.
Hey, this
So
is getting crazy.
Oh my
That's crazy.
God,
That's crazy.
what?
that always made me wonder, like, is there something past this?
Yeah,
I feel
so
like there is.
I have an auntie that's a psychic.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Sick.
I've only met her when I was like young, and I told this story before, but basically like she has this like alter ego or like some spirit that died, and that spirit was what kind of lets her see these visions and future, whatever it's called.
Uh-huh.
And then one time when I was young, I asked her, I was like, hey, how tall will I be when I grow up? She said 6'2", man.
6'2".
Yo.
Nah.
She said 6'2", and then she said I was gonna be an
Why
engineer.
would you say that?
Yeah.
I'm dead.
And I'm like the opposite of both. So
RTA
So
student, and
Did
you're
you not
5'4".
believe her? Do you not
Yeah.
believe her psychic powers?
I don't know. Maybe she's just saying that. She runs a whole thing in Hawaii. But there's this weird thing that she does when like she does some ritual and then she faints, and then when she wakes up she has like a whole different voice, and it's weird.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's
Whoa,
pretty
that's
scary.
Insane.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, that sounds kind of funny. Like,
I mean, I
can
never
you
witnessed it.
imagine
But
if I just kind of did some shit and fainted, and then I woke up and started talking like this.
I mean, hey, like it could all be a fucking act, and she could just,
I am now
Yeah,
someone
I know.
that'd be
else.
so funny.
I
Go to the
feel
podcast.
like I believe in spirits now a little bit, because I just hear about so many stories of people seeing them. But like, why do some people see them and others don't?
Actually, it's apparently in your bloodline. Like, it's kind of like a gene. And also, I've heard that it can be given to you as a gift.
Huh.
Yeah,
This stuff goes so deep, man.
Yeah.
does.
The whole thing with this subject is it really depends on what you believe in, and the whole thing, it's like whether you believe it or not, there's always different opinions, and you don't really know the
Mhm.
truth, right,
Until
until you
you
die.
experience it or you die.
Or
Yeah.
when yeah, exactly. So
Or I don't know, the mind can like play tricks on you too. That's
Mhm.
always a possibility. Yeah.
do you guys believe in a creator or God? Just a yes or no. You don't have to go into it.
I
Well, that's the
don't
thing.
think
I'd have to
What
go
a
into it.
question. What a question.
I feel like it's a big force, like just one big force, but I don't know if it's like a being. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I agree
Yeah.
with
I
you.
feel.
Yeah.
I agree with
And I
that.
think we're all kind of like think about it as a body, and we're all like its fingers. Like we're all. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
We're
Yeah.
all kind of attached to it.
For me, I talked to Hassan about this on the train once, but
Yeah.
my perspective is, I feel like there is a creator. Like in anything, it's. Do you guys know about the whole simulation theory and all of that? Like,
Yeah.
this it's not really part of it,
Kind
but
of.
the whole idea of it, like, the whole idea of it is that, like, let's say if
Nature.
we're a whole like simulation and there's this creator, right? So when we're playing, let's say a game like Minecraft, like obviously there's a, like when we're playing as a character in Minecraft, right? We obviously know that from this world that someone created Minecraft. But let's say if you were living in that world of Minecraft, you wouldn't know who God is. You can't comprehend anything outside of that game because you're merely an NPC in that game, right? So
Mhm.
if you take that idea and put it into this reality, you only know what you can't comprehend what God is. You only know what's given to you and the resources that's given to you on this world, right? So similar to that, it's like like obviously as humans we can't comprehend what God is. We don't like he's omnipotent. Like we don't know what's out there, but all we could know, like all I know is that I believe in there's like a creator or like a designer, because I don't know, I feel like everything's so complex and everything has patterns, like the way our DNA is structured and all of that. There's so much like I feel like there's
Yeah.
evidence that there is someone
It's
creating this
interesting
patterns out there.
yeah, like it's interesting because you can kind of explain everything based on cause and reaction and science
Yeah,
and all that until a certain point, though. Like
right.
that's my biggest reason for it is like no matter how far back you go with like logical reasoning, at the end of it, you're gonna come to a question of how did this happen, or
Hmm.
who made this happen, or what was there before this. Like those questions are inevitable, and that's why I feel like the idea of a god or a creator is kind of it has the power to be like a final answer,
Yeah,
and you don't have to look further than that. But that is also kind of hard to it's still hard to grasp because like you said, we can't actually grasp what God is, so it's pretty annoying.
Yeah.
Well, you were just saying like how we can't actually comprehend like what God is. I was just gonna say that like, because usually when we as like general like society, we as a society say the word God, we kind of envision like a person or some type of being, or like maybe like a colorful little diagram that we imagine in our head. I don't know, whatever you think of when we say the word God. But I kind of came to the realization, or at least I think I did, that whatever God is definitely something that I can't like really comprehend at
yeah,
all. Like I don't even
Yeah.
know if it's a I mean, I don't even know. Like I don't even know if it's a person or it looks like a person, or if I saw it, could I even, like I don't even know, man.
Hmm.
I,
yeah.
I kind of decided at a young age to stop thinking about it because it was messing me up. Like it
That
was
happened to me
really,
too. Yeah, I
yeah.
remember like I literally had this conversation with my oldest bro and my parents one time when I was like probably I wasn't that young. I was like probably 15 or something.
Mm.
And I had this conversation with them, and I ended off after like 2 hours of talking and debating stuff. I ended off with just a question that the result that I got was like, I don't know, fam. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get
Pretty
more
much, yeah.
confused
Yeah,
than
I
it got
before.
it's
remember
so
when I was like 5, I just kept asking my mom, like, where did it all start though? where did it all
Yeah,
start?
exactly.
And she's like, I don't know. Like, it just started somewhere. Like, he just created all of this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but how does that make sense?
Yeah, I always have to
But
ask the question.
it's
Okay,
honestly
so
true.
like, I always ask the question like, okay, so God exists, and then who made God, or where did he come from,
Exactly. I'm like,
right?
like, where did he
And
come
then,
from?
Oh
and then
no.
where do you go from there? It's like,
Exactly.
And there's this whole thing about like even giving a pronoun to God, like what makes God a he, and like
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly.
you know what I mean?
I think that literally just comes from the fact that it was those like scriptures are written from in such an old time period
Yeah.
where that was the norm. Like if
Yeah,
any of
that's
these
true,
major
that's true.
religions were to be founded now, I don't think that would be the case still. So
I agree.
I think it would be like
Also,
yeah.
colonialism has, I just found out this summer that colonialism has changed so many religions, like so much, that it's not even what the religion was like based. Like, it's not like how
Originally
it
on.
was originally. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Even within like
it's-
one religion, there's just so many different sections of it, and there's so many different beliefs. Like within Islam, there's probably like 20 different branches.
Sex, yeah.
Yeah, like it's just there's so much to it. It's so complex because it's been going on for so long, and people always interpret things differently.
Yeah.
You can't control that at all. There's never going to be a way to make everyone believe the same thing, which is weird. I was just gonna say it's kind of weird because I feel like every religion's goal is that they want everyone to be in that religion and practice that faith. But I don't think that's even possible in human nature to make that happen.
Yeah. Do you guys know the story of the short story of the egg?
No.
The egg.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I do. Remind me though.
It's just a story
I've
about
heard of
this
it.
guy who dies and gets reincarnated. But this guy
Oh,
he
yes.
dies and he meets some figure named like that's like, apparently God, and he's asking like what happens like in the afterworld where they're like in the afterworld he meets God. There's no like concept of time or whatever, and basically he gets reincarnated into every single person that ever exists in the world. And basically the whole message of the story is that you get reincarnated over and over and over until you realize that I forgot how it actually goes, until you realize that
We are all one.
yeah, we're all one or something like that,
Oh,
I
right?
got it
yeah.
right. Let's get it.
And
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah,
become
yeah.
one of the angels or whatever in the
Oh,
next
I
world.
actually read something about this the
Yeah.
other day. It was, I don't know if it's like a theory or like what it was, but it essentially said that we are all like literally the same. The only thing that separates us is our individual egos. So like
Mhm.
our specific like personalities and stuff. The
Mm.
only reason we have those is so that we aren't just one person.
I had this
that makes
coworker
sense.
last summer that used to always talk to me about this kind of stuff. We'd be sitting in like a Tim Hortons patio, and he'd be like, "Look, Hasaan, eventually we're all gonna become one consciousness." And I was like,
Damn.
"Oh, leave my like, you know."
Sure.
Yeah.
That's trippy.
I think religion is overall like in spirituality it's all fun to like learn about. I don't think it's right for people to judge like different religions because at the end of the day no one actually knows, right?
Yeah.
So
But okay, my question, I'm curious as to what you think of this argument, but a lot of people are like so adamant about their own religion without exploring other religions.
mhm.
Why do some religious people believe that their religion is like the be all end all and the right one?
I think this is the case with any religion, that the reason that it's called having faith is because you have to believe in it regardless of any doubts or questions. And I'm sure in every single faith, everyone has questions. There's no way that anyone can feel like, everything is answered, because that's just not the case. Like, even if it is, you don't know all the answers either, unless you've studied the in and out of the religion, like to the last drop, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I think the whole thing about, believing that your own religion is the right one, you have to have a really large amount of faith to begin with to even be religious and to actually believe in what it is, like what you're practicing, because there's no real physical proof. You know what I mean? Like, there's never gonna.
True.
Or immediate benefit. or immediate benefit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like there's nothing that comes like out of it that you can immediately see it's working. When you pray, it doesn't happen like right away. You know, it's always like a time taking thing, and it happens naturally, right? So I think having that faith, it would kind of make sense that you would also automatically have that faith that yours is what makes sense, or yours is what's true. Because if you don't believe that, then are you even
Then why are you
really?
practicing it?
Then why are you practicing it, right? Like I think
Yeah.
it comes hand in hand, sort of. So
Yeah.
And to add on to that, it's like I feel like people who actually study their religion, I think those people are even more open-minded in like the ones who are actually scholars of their religion
Yeah.
are more open-minded than those that you mentioned that would be like, oh, so denial of every other religion. Because I feel like those
Yeah.
scholars would actually look into other religions and understand the contradictions of either theirs or the others and try to see you know,
Mhm.
the truths.
Mhm.
And to add to that, it's like even within religion, there's, even though it's written thousands of years ago, there's always like interpretations of it. Like
Mhm.
maybe what's written isn't actually it shouldn't be taken word for word, right? It should be interpreted and also modernized.
Can I add on to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a really close friend of mine who is like extremely religious. And she holds a view that I personally like agree with, even though like I'm not religious myself. I see it the same way as she does, where she said that even though like she practices her specific faith, she views like all different faiths, like all different religions, as all pointing to the same truth, like in the end. So it's not like there can, because I don't know. I don't want to like say anything, but like I don't
I
know
think
if there can be six
I
different
think you're on the
gods.
right
You know
track.
what I
Like
mean?
they have
But
like the
like
yeah.
same variation of the truth.
every like scripture, every book, every religion is kind of pointing to that one thing, and they're
Yeah.
each kind of
Mhm.
taking their own take on it, and
I
that's
think
And
that's
something
what
Yeah.
it is.
that I
Too.
agree with.
I
Yeah.
remember when I was a kid, like, so yeah, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like, because for my Catholic high school, like, we had to take religion every year, and in grade 11, we had to take world religion. So we learned about all the religions, and it basically pointed to the fact that like they all lead to the same truth, but like in a different way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And they just have like different like traditions and cultural stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's all basically just like different theories, kind
It's
of.
decorated differently.
Yeah.
I think like the main theory is that there was something that everyone experienced, and then like through time everything just like branched apart, but it
Mhm.
still stayed true to like the
I
upper
see what
being,
you're
you know.
saying.
I
Yeah.
used
That
to
makes
have
sense. That
like
makes
so
sense.
much anxiety about that when I was a kid because I'd always ask the question of like, how do we know that I'm a Muslim? Like, I'm like, oh, what if I'm not doing the right one? What if I'm, what if
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
I die and my parents and I, will we go to heaven? Like, will we actually go, or will we be sent somewhere else because we weren't on the right
Mm.
track, right? But
Mhm.
then as I grew older, I kind of came to that same conclusion of like, you know what, like it's all really the same thing. It's all going towards the same end goal, just in different ways and different methods, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I want to entertain like the idea of the atheist or the idea of people who actually don't believe in, yeah, say God. I wonder how, or like just in general, like people who aren't religious, um, how what keeps you going? Like what keeps you happy? If let's say like to a lot of people, religion is what keeps them comforted and you know makes them, I don't know, like gives them purpose and guidance. So how do you think like you're comforted if you don't necessarily are religious?
I think in the same sense that okay, so a religious person might say, I'm gonna stay along these guidelines and follow this path because I know that at the end of it, like I'll have this thing. I think there's also the other side, and it's kind of like a relief in a sense for some people to know that we're just here because like no real reason, and so I should just do whatever I want. I think that can also be kind of like relieving in its own
Mhm.
way for some people. For some people, it can drive them crazy, but for
Mm-hmm.
others, I
I
think
feel like the way I see it is like accepting death versus not accepting death. You know, like you want there to be something more.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah,
that's definitely how some people look at it for
Mhm.
yeah.
sure. Yeah, I
I
feel
think
like
some
that's like
people also are like they have this kind of contempt toward religion, and that is what makes them an atheist. Like they just don't like the idea of religion, and they don't like the religious idea of what God is, and
Yeah.
that makes them reject it. Like reject it in the sense that they actually they don't like it and they'll speak out against it type shit.
Yeah, it kind of depends because it's like, do you mean like someone who like doesn't necessarily believe in God, but they're just like whatever about it, or someone who's like actively like, no, this is
Yeah.
not the case? Because like I feel like there's a
I feel like
difference.
there's a difference in circumstance there, yeah. Because the one that doesn't really care and that is kind of just doing their own thing, I can't speak to because I don't think I know anyone really that is like that, like completely. But I would think that the main thing that drives them or keeps them comforted is that they have trust or confidence in themselves. Because if you're gonna go out into the world basically and discard this idea that there's something else watching over you and that there's some kind of safety, but you're still gonna go through everything, you're gonna live life and you're gonna make your way through the world and navigate by yourself. I think that requires you to have like a lot of faith in yourself and believing that you have enough power to keep yourself safe and guide yourself towards the right end goal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Honestly, but I feel like I feel that way. I don't think that there's anything looking after us personally, or looking after me. I don't want to speak for anyone else, but
Yeah.
I'm like
yeah.
somewhat like that as well. I'm
I don't know. At a
somewhat
time
like
like this, with the whole pandemic, like it can like feel like that no one's watching. Also, with like
Yeah.
all the religious like establishments closed, like churches, temples, mosques, everything's closed. You can't really practice your faith. So I feel like religion is like slowly like not practiced as much.
I guess
Especially with the
so.
pandemic.
But I don't find like discomfort in the fact that no one's watching over me, because I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have the mentality like here for a good time, not a long time. You know?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
they're
definitely.
just
Yeah,
here to live
exactly.
life and that's it.
Like they're just like, yo, I'm here, like it's lit, and they don't really. A lot of
That's
people don't even
definitely
think
more of a
this
Western
deeply.
like ideology too, though. I think.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't even think this far. Like some people just, like it's not. It doesn't even
Yeah,
occur
yeah.
to a lot of people.
Like
even- Yeah.
which is cool.
even
Which is
even
cool,
to the
honestly.
people who do think that far, right? In philosophy, there's this whole thing called like the absurd, and it's like a human tendency to search for purpose or inherent value in life. And even for those people who do think that deeply, it's similar to what Jackie said. There's this whole thing about like making your own purpose. It's like you could live life without knowing that there is actual purpose and a will, but you could still like live just to live and find peace with that.
Mhm.
And
I like that.
Yeah.
That was nicely
Yeah.
worded.
Yeah.
to me, it's
Yeah.
kind of confusing still, but I could see it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird how we all had like such deep thoughts when we were younger, and then now we're like more chill about it.
Yeah, you know why? It's because when you grow up, you just don't want to think about it anymore. It's like
Yeah.
you think about it so much as a kid, especially if you grew up in a religious house. You think about it all the time, and then you grow older and you're just like,
Did everyone here grow up religious?
I grew up religious, but it was only because the closest school to me was the closest French school to me was a Catholic school. So I was kind of just going there because it was convenient. And then my mom was pretty religious growing up, but I feel like I told you guys about this. She kind of like switches between faiths.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
She just like
dramatic.
likes to experiment, I guess. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, that's a good way. I don't know. It's so yeah, she was Catholic, like we would go to church and stuff, but my dad is super anti-religion. He's just like a major atheist, not quite anti-religion. So I get my like skepticism of religion from my dad a little bit. So I'm still kind of skeptical about it. I feel like the thing that puts me off from religion is just living under so many rules, I guess.
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I agree. Yeah.
The thing that put me off from religion at a young age was like the fact that I didn't have a choice in what religion to like put myself in. Like I
Did
was
you
it
grow up
was so
religion? were
Yeah, I grew
religious?
up very religious. Yeah, like Christian household. I grew up with my grandparents. I didn't grow up with my parents. My grandparents. You know how grandparents be so religious.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so church every Sunday,
Yo, me
daycare.
too, man.
Like
Church every
I've been to
Sunday.
when I went to Italy, I went to the Vatican as well, which was like,
No way.
Damn,
Damn.
that's
yeah,
sick.
I watched the Pope speak, and then I went inside. It
Wow.
actually, I'm not gonna lie, it did feel very like holy. I won't even lie. Like there is a vibe. It felt crazy. Like when I was inside, it was so different. I don't know how, but anyways, the fact that I was just born into it, and I'm like looking around, I'm like I didn't even have a choice, like to
That's
decide.
exactly how I feel about it
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
exactly same for me.
I think it's always a pattern with children that are raised in a really religious household. They grow up and they get distant from it a lot of times because they feel that way. They feel the same way that, like you said, like they don't have a choice in it. And when they grow older, when they think about it more, it's like they don't have time to implement their own thoughts about it or time to implement what they believe
Mm.
because they have pressure sometimes from their parents or like just because they've been doing it for so long that it's kind of scary to like switch up on it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So it's easier to kind of just distance yourself from it and not really um not really say anything about it,
For
instead of
me,
saying
yeah,
yeah.
I moved out of my grandparents' house. That's where I like kind of became more distant because I didn't have to go to church as much, and like obviously like we would pray, and then the more time went on, like we'd kind of stop praying progressively until like it kind of just became like normal to like not
Yeah.
pray, and then
Yeah.
it just became like that. But it was for me, it was like I could have been born into another religion and it would have been the exact same. So like what makes this one like the right one? Like that was my thinking. Like I was like if I,
Exactly.
I was just born into
Hmm.
this one, so like realistically I could have actually been born into another one and it would have
Yeah.
literally, so
It's
that just threw me
interesting.
off.
Yeah, it's interesting hearing your stories about that because for me, my parents like I grew up like a Buddhist, but my
Mm,
parents weren't like forcing it like down on me or anything.
mm,
Yeah,
Same.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
The
so
same with
growing
me,
up
yeah.
after it's like I didn't feel pressure or resentment to religion or
I
anything.
wasn't pressured either. Like I genuinely had faith like as a
Yeah,
child. Like I was praying every night.
Yeah, me too.
yeah,
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
But you just hit a certain age where it's like wait though, like I'm in church and I'm watching everyone sing and like be so
Mm-hmm.
passionate, and I'm kind of like am I sure like
Hmm.
can I be like that, like I don't even know, and then
You know what
you
bothered
just
me?
spiral.
What bothered me so much as a kid, or not? I keep saying as a kid, but it's more like mid-teens when I'm kind of starting to go through that questioning phase.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was that I started feeling distant from it, and I started feeling like I had all these questions about it, the same way that you're saying. But at every moment of my life, I always was reminded of something. Like, hold on, let me try to think of how to word this. Like things would always be happening around me that I was like unable to deny that there's like something else going on here, or I'd always experience something around me because I also like live in like my entire apartment building. It's a lot of my religious community lives here. Like most of it is my religious community, so I've been surrounded by it all the time, and I always have this feeling of like, okay, even though I'm trying to get away from it or I'm trying to deny it or whatever, I always feel something. I feel something here that if I'm denying it, I shouldn't feel this, but I do.
Mm.
And like, it's this weird, like, conflict that I used to have.
What's the feeling you're describing? Like, what do you mean?
Like, the feeling that, like, similar to what Jay said when he went to the Vatican and he was like, yo, it really did feel holy, you know?
What does holy mean? Like to you?
Like, it just, I don't know. I
Just
mean,
the
I don't
feeling
even
like
know what I don't even. I just use holy because it was the easiest word to
yeah,
use, but
yeah.
it just felt
It's,
like there was a presence. Yeah, like it
it
felt
resonates
Something
with
was
different.
me.
happening.
It felt
Yeah.
different, like it really
It felt
did.
different and it felt like there was actually sort of like, a truth in what was being practiced there. And I still feel that a lot of times, but then at the
Do you
same
feel
time,
that
I have
like through
this.
prayer?
No, not for me. No, I feel it more through like congregation, like where there's like events going on, or
Mm.
like I don't know. I mean, it can happen randomly. But I remember when I was like when I was 15, right? I went to this like sort of like a Sunday school camp type thing for like maybe a week. And that was the point that I was like really questioning everything. And I was like, oh, I don't know if there's a God or whatever. And then when I was at that camp, I just kept going to these activities, and I kept learning about God. And like we had different teachers, different speakers and stuff. And when I came out of it, I was so confused because I was like, I feel something. I like this. And I actually feel a connection to what I'm learning. But at the same time, I have this disconnect where I'm questioning it and I'm conflicted about my beliefs. I'm doubting things. And it got to a point where I think I just kind of stopped thinking about it because I was like, I'm not finding an answer until I'm like older and have experienced more in life.
And that's exactly what I
Yeah.
said too.
For me, man, I feel like I'm like a simple-minded kid because I never had these thoughts. I was never that curious what I was doing. Like when prayers and all, when I went to the temple, I never questioned anything. I just did what like my mom did. She didn't really force me, so yeah. I don't know. I just never was curious with this kind of stuff, but I'm getting into it now, especially when what you guys are
I'm the
talking
same,
about.
Chris. Like
Like,
as a
even-
kid, I was just chilling. I was just posted.
Me too.
Yeah.
Jacquie, didn't you hate everything?
I hated everything. Okay, I was not happy, but I didn't like deeply question life.
Yeah, or
Like even though if it's irrelevant, like ghost stories, I just can't get into it. I can never be invested in it, I guess, in the stories. Because I never like really believed it.
I mean, a lot of it depends on your environment when you grow up too, and how religion is put into your like the way that your parents raise you and how they put it into their methods. That has a lot to do with it too, because I feel like the only reason that I thought about things so much is because I was always being talked to about it, and I was always being given like classes and lectures about this kind of stuff. But if I wasn't,
yeah.
and my parents were so religious, but they didn't really talk about it to me like that, I probably would be the same way. I'd probably be like just kind of what's the word? Autopilot. Autopilot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's what I kind of wished my parents would do. Like they would explain things more instead of just like telling me what to do. I was like, okay, I just do this, do that without question.
Yeah, the conflict hits me too. Like whether if there's purpose and all of that. Is there a purpose if I actually stay alive? I'm only saying that because like that conflict of whether there's significance in this life or not.
I've thought about that recently. Like I was like, if you have nothing to lose, I mean, if you lost everything, if you have no one, would it be fine to just suicide? And like, can people allow that to happen?
Like basically, Chris, what you're saying is if somebody didn't have anyone that cared about them or anything, it wouldn't make a difference to the world if they died.
Yeah, I've thought about that as well before.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like, can anyone think of a reason why they shouldn't like go through with it?
Because it would hurt other people. Like other people would
I
be
think that's
hurt.
the only big reason, really.
But
But
with
see-
this person who
He's
has
saying that
no
they don't
one.
have
There's a
anyone
big
that they would
reason,
hurt with it.
Well, I see it this way. Like everyone is like has a purpose. Everyone is super important. Like anything you do has a ripple effect. You know what I mean?
I think any loss is bad for society, and like
Yeah.
obviously they're not gonna promote suicide. So like
Yeah, of
that's
course.
why there's laws
That
in
is
place.
true for society. Sorry, I was gonna say. I
Mhm.
mean, if you think about it from the societal perspective, yeah, that's true. But as a human, like as an individual person, you're not really thinking about yourself through society's lens, right? You're thinking about yourself as a person. So for them, I mean, if someone's having that thought, like society, the greater good of society isn't what's gonna make them, not do it, or you know what I mean? Like that isn't gonna be. I don't think that's gonna be a deciding factor. I think to answer your question though, Chris, like what would stop them or why they shouldn't do it. I feel like a lot of it that will depend on the person themselves and what they value, because I mean, some people maybe that would be it for them, right? If they lost everyone they had, or if they lost their job and all their worldly things, they lost them all, then maybe that would be enough of a reason. But for some people, I mean, just the idea of having faith in God can keep someone
I
alive.
was gonna say that for a lot of
Yeah.
people, it's
Yeah.
faith that gets them through like those times.
It's yeah, it's it would be so surprised to know like how much it can pull someone through. Just that raw like belief, nothing else, nothing. No, like medicine can help what that can help sometimes for some people.
And also, like, faith doesn't always have to be like God. It could just be faith and like things will get better one day.
Yeah, in the future.
If you keep on living, It could be like love, like, oh, I'm gonna fall in love, find someone,
Like something
Yeah.
like that.
you know.
That's kind of where I am right now. I am into like stones and stuff. So I went to this spiritual shop and I was buying some stones and the lady was like explaining to me the whole process and she was explaining to me chakras and she's like, "Oh, all these stones that you bought are like root chakras and like a person is kind of like a tree and you start at the roots to like try to like better yourself and like by the end, like when all of your chakras are like good or whatever, or balanced, um, you like end up living a more fulfilled life and like you end up reaching like a higher consciousness and things like start to make more sense and like, yeah, you feel better. Yeah.
Maria, do shells have any significance in spirituality?
Do what?
Do shells have any significance?
Shells? Like
Yeah,
seashells?
like seashells. Yeah,
I don't know. I have no idea. I know
because
people use them to cleanse. Why?
I only say okay. So I have a little story.
Okay.
This goes back to what we were talking about before of like any like experiences. I guess this would count as one of mine. But like, in the summer, I was like talking to this girl, pretty like seriously, I guess, and she's like very very spiritual, like by far the most like spiritual person I know. Like, it's like in her family, she's like always doing like some, I don't know. She's on some other. She was on some other stuff.
Oh
And
man.
so one time, I went to my mailbox to like get my mail, and like right in front of like my specific mailbox, because I have like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like everyone's boxes are there, and then there's like right under mine specifically, there was like a green like shell, and I was like, oh, like that's cool, and I like picked it up and I went home, and I told the girl, I'm like, yo, I found like a shell just now, and she's like, wait, like show me, and I showed her it. And she was like, yo, that's crazy because I have a shell collection and like my green one just went missing. I was like, "Aw."
No.
And she lives like far. Like she lives like far.
I love when shit like that happens.
Yeah, and it was actually crazy because like she wasn't lying. Like she even showed me like an old photo of the shell,
Oh
and it
my
like
god.
looked like exactly like the one
Dude.
that I found. And
Either
like
she's crazy
I was about to say, that.
or whatever witchcraft she's doing is working.
Oh, I'm so skeptical about these things that the first thing that popped in my mind was like this girl went and planted
Put
that
it there.
green shell in your mailbox just to get you back with this later, bro. But like,
Damn.
obviously, I trust that she didn't do that. That's like a
Yeah.
different level. But
Yeah.
no, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Wait,
But
Maria.
she
Please. Yes.
I remember a couple episodes ago you said you'd guess our.
Oh, I know. I should do it.
Oh.
Okay. Can I ask you guys to
Wait,
do something
sign.
before I do that? Because I really
Yes,
want to
please.
guess.
wait. Before we go with this, I just want to say to clarify, because I think we talked about this on an episode, but then it got cut out of the show.
Oh.
So what we were talking about before was since Maria is really into spirituality, we had talked about how, and also just to like give more context, we've gotten to know Maria. A lot of us have gotten to know Maria more through this show. Like we hadn't talked to her as much before. So we were thinking it would be funny if she could try and like guess our what's it called? Our signs, zodiac signs.
Yes.
And see if she can get them right based on our personalities and what she's learned about us so far.
She already got mine right off top.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
That's
Like
crazy.
no, like the first time I ever met her, like she got mine right, like
Whoa.
within like 20 seconds.
I'm
Let
like
me just say,
Virgo.
I am skeptical, Maria, because I have a feeling that you might have just looked at my Facebook profile. and
On
found out
God,
who
I
am.
did not. On
No,
God, I tried
she did
so
not do
hard
that.
not to, but on God,
Which
and
God,
I feel
though?
like
Which
I know
God?
yours the best. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like
Okay.
I'm 100% sure about yours, but
Interesting.
I should have said that though, because now I might be wrong.
If you
But
get it wrong, it's flop.
Yes.
are you a Taurus?
Haha, no.
Oh, wait, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Are
Okay.
you a Cancer then?
No.
Damn.
Not even
Mwah,
like
Mwah, mwah.
send me
Oh,
your
Real as a freak.
Send me your shit.
Yo, this is your last chance. This is your. Do you even want to guess a third? Like, you should move on more times.
I just want to know his rising then, because I'm getting strong Taurus vibes for some reason.
He does
Or
seem
he's
like
a Capricorn.
No. That's 3 wrong.
Fail.
Hey,
You got
tell
9
me,
left. You got 9 left.
what are you then?
Gemini.
Just tell me. Gemini?
Yeah.
Damn.
I feel like I somehow won here by not being guessed because I feel like I've evaded your tricks. So
Yeah. You just had a lot of Taurus, what's it called?
What are the characteristics that
Okay.
he showed?
You kind of have like broad shoulders. You know what I mean? And you were talking about liking to snack a lot, like the first 2 episodes or something. You were talking about that being your bad habit. And
Wait,
how
this
it,
went
like,
the wrong direction that I was thinking.
what?
what do you
That's
mean?
what made you think that I was a Taurus? The snacking?
No, and you have like broad shoulders. That's the key thing about
I thought it was like
Tauruses.
I thought it was like personality, not my eating habits. What?
No, oh my god.
I'm confused.
It's just that everything like in your chart affects like the way you are differently, different parts of your personality. So those 2 are 2 common things that I see in Tauruses a lot.
Okay, I see.
I think, okay, Austin, shoot, I don't know. Okay, can you narrow it down for me? Can you?
Now you're doubting it. Now you're doubting yourself.
Yeah, I am.
No. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Just go for it. Just shoot it.
I feel like he's giving me like Cancer vibes. Or
Wrong. Oh.
oh shoot.
Girl.
Can you cut all of this out? Cut every single bit of it out.
I'll cut everything but the right one.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah, just go through all 12, and then when you get it right, you get that one in.
wait, just give me the season at least, the season that you're born in.
No, that's cheating.
Yeah,
No way.
Cheater.
There's so
Maria.
many.
Afterwards, you have like 4 that you need to pick of.
Okay, you know what, Jacquie? I will come over to your house and beat you up.
Oh my god. Is that a threat?
It's a threat. Okay, Austin.
Yeah.
Cancer, no.
No.
What about Aquarius?
Close.
Close.
Oh,
Capricorn? You're a Capricorn. You can't be an Aries.
No.
You're a Capricorn.
No.
What the hell? How are you?
Wait,
How
let
am I
me-
close? You're a
no,
Pisces.
I got it. Pisces.
Yes.
Pisces.
Yes.
Yeah,
Why didn't I
look,
guess
yeah, I'm
that
the real
first?
spiritual.
Why didn't I guess?
I'm the real.
Aren't they
spiritual.
next to each other? Right. I think.
No, they're not.
Wait. What's?
Wait.
Oh.
Oh no.
No, they're not. They're not next to each other.
Austin.
Oops.
Oh
Aquarius
wait,
and
no, you're
Pisces.
right. You're more right than me. They are next to each other.
Yo, whoever's an astrologist is listening to Maria. I'm like, oh, god damn.
True.
Make us look bad.
Yes.
I know.
Pisces.
Just cut it out to me just being like, can I guess Pisces? Okay. Who else?
Nah.
Okay, next. Guess me.
Richard. Okay. I'm getting. Wait. Okay. Hold on. Can we backtrack really quick? Austin, what is your
Yeah.
moon and your rising? Do you know?
Is the rising the ascendant?
Ascendant. Yeah.
Leo.
Oh, never mind. I would not have guessed that. Your moon.
Sagittarius.
You're Sag. What the hell?
A Sag.
What the hell?
All year.
Yo, I'm thinking she just got lucky with me. I think she just got
Yeah.
lucky with me.
Yo.
No. Listen. Virgos.
Yo,
I
Jay
can
was
just.
like, yo, she got it. Jay was like, she got it off rip when she met me, and now
Got
she's
No, no.
Rip.
freaking.
No. Listen. First, okay, you're just such a Virgo. You just are.
Hey.
Oh,
what does
dude,
I
that
was
such a
not ever
Virgo.
doing this. Okay, Rick.
Do you-
Let's move on to Rick.
Alright.
Richard. Rickalicious.
I am a
Rick is
Virgo.
fine.
I'm not gonna lie though. I am.
Rickalicious is fine too.
Rickalicious. I get strong like something like
Come on,
Your blood?
cough it up.
I get like strong like you're very understanding, like you're very
Yeah.
inclusive, you like to talk a lot, outgoing. I get like Leo Gemini vibes. You can also very much be a Libra.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing one of those three. Can you chill?
You want to guess?
Say one.
Say one.
No.
I don't know.
What are you? What are you? What are you?
You gotta
Yeah.
decide on one. You gotta decide on one.
Uh, Libra.
No.
Ah,
Oh,
I'm definitely not a
I'm a
Leo.
Capricorn.
Capricorn?
You're a Capricorn? Dude,
Yeah.
what the F?
oh my god!
Wait.
Guys, I know
Richard.
why this is happening. It's because the moon is in a weird
Because
position right now. I'm
Mercury's in
telling y'all. The moon is in a different
Oh.
position.
Yeah,
I
yeah, the
haven't cleansed
moon.
my crystals.
Richard, you need to edit in some air horns here, bro. Every single
Wait,
time.
wait,
you
wait,
get-
wait. My chakras aren't
Wait.
balanced yet, guys. I'm sorry.
Wait, so I'm curious then. What is Capricorn traits then?
They love money. They can be a
Okay.
little like judgy
True.
at first, a little quiet until you get to know them. They're in their bag. They are in their bag. They love to work hard and work towards what they want.
I think
That does
I think
sound
all those
accurate.
things-
Yeah.
I think those things sound
See, I
accurate.
don't know
yeah.
you guys,
Even the quiet-
okay? I don't know you all that well.
You didn't know any of us that well going into this podcast, so that's the whole point.
True,
of it.
true, true.
You're supposed.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, let's do a quick fire round.
Okay. Yeah. Go for everyone.
Okay.
Just
Who am
literally
I
everyone.
missing?
Jackie.
I mean, Jackie's a Libra. I've already known that.
Okay.
She's so not a
She's
Libra.
Weldon.
so not a
In
Libra.
a way, she is a Libra, though.
All right. What's Weldon?
What?
What's Weldon?
Well, I don't know.
To make it easier, I think me and Chris are the same one. I think.
I don't know yours, bro. I don't know yours.
Okay.
This guy said I don't know you.
Okay. I think you're. I think you're. I don't know why I'm getting Cancer vibes from all of you, but I know he's not a Cancer.
Rude.
Okay. Well, tell me about your personality. I don't really know you that well. Tell me your personality, and then I'll tell you.
That's cheating. That's
All right,
cheating.
you guys
That's
tell me.
cheating.
How is that cheating? How am I supposed to guess?
No.
The fact
Because
that
cheating.
you
No,
don't know
that's
him
not
that
cheating.
well
It's
is
hints,
probably a
hints.
part of his personality.
Look. If you give
It's a
him
little
the
bit quiet.
give her the personality, then how is she not? How is she gonna guess? She has to know the personality traits to
Exactly.
figure it out. But if she doesn't, if you just give it to her, she's gonna check them off her list and be like, oh, I know
Also,
this guy.
guys, it's all about vibes too.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
if we're all in person, I think this would go a lot
Easier.
differently. Maybe.
Yeah.
She did guess me in person, so I'll give her
Yeah.
that.
All right, go, Weldon. You just gotta spit it off the dome.
Is he still here?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Wait, were you talking to Maria or Weldon?
No, I'm talking to
Okay,
Maria.
it's
I'm talking to
three,
Maria.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought Weldon was going to tell me his about his
There's-
personality.
There's no
I'm
way she
telling
can
you.
just guess it off
Oh my-
like
It's
without
okay,
knowing
I'm
her.
do
I'm
it.
just like
Do it.
speaking out of my ass at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
I have an idea. Okay, we're all gonna tell you our horoscope, and then we're gonna redo the segment, right? And then as soon as we ask you to say it, you're gonna guess all of it, right? And we're all gonna be
Yeah,
like,
let's do
"Oh
it.
my
Yo, is this
god!"
gonna
So
be in
dumb.
the? Is this part gonna be in the podcast?
No of it. No.
No,
Cut.
don't do me like that,
Okay,
please.
No, do it.
Don't do it like that.
Wait, yo, Chris, what's your sign?
What's my sign? Should I say
Yeah.
it?
Yes.
No.
Wait, not the
Okay.
sign.
Okay,
You gotta guess
Okay.
it.
Waldo, I'll give you my top threes for you.
Okay.
Did you do your birth chart or no?
Yeah, I did.
You did? So you know your ascendant and moon as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm maybe. Can you just 1 second? Just 1 second. My cat
Cat's
is
trying to tell you to
freaking
hurry up.
out. Okay. So I think you might be. Shit. I think definitely not a Leo. No Leos anywhere. Maybe an Aquarius somewhere. No. Okay, just tell me. Just
Oh,
tell me your
shit.
signs, guys. Just tell me.
Aquarius.
Oh,
great.
I'm Sagittarius.
Yo, this page says I'm a circumcised guy. What?
What?
Oh, circumspect. Jesus. Oh my god.
This page says I'm sick.
I was like, how the hell did it know?
It's that accurate. Eh?
Guys, astrology is so accurate. So that wraps it up, guys. We didn't really get to any conclusions about spirituality, but that's what it's all about. We talked about life, death, the human experience, past material things, growing up religious, and so much more. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you next week.
Bye, guys. Be a good person.
Bye.
Always be a good person.
No.
Bye.
Oh, yeah.
Do that again, bro.
Later, fam.
Bonsai.
I'll see you next time on Hindsight.